Hello everyone, as you can tell by the title if you haven't read it already, we're going to be talking about the basic fundamentals of algebra and pre-algebra, and I really want to emphasize on the meaning of algebra in this video and a lot of the basic stuff, like the prerequisites and stuff to know for this course. So algebra, big word, right? For some people, it's a really big word. And it sounds like something scary, like there's a lot of memes out there that go like, I hate the person who included the alphabet in math and things like that. But I really want to emphasize on what algebra really is. So algebra comes from the word, it's an Arabic word because the person who actually started this was an Arabic person. Hisab, algebra, muqabla, and algebra muqabla is really that algebra muqabla especially means balancing. So in essence, algebra is basically the balancing of equations. And that's just the basics of it. Later on, it's not. Sometimes you can't really balance the equation, and there's a lot of things like that we'll be talking about. So, algebra. Let me tell you about something about the balancing. Something to know about it. There's going to be a lot of teachers out there who are going to be like, okay, let me just give you an equation here. X plus, I don't know, 7 is equal to 10, right? So a lot of teachers are going to emphasize, you have to balance it out. And this is a really good thing for beginners, but if you want to do competitive math, it's going to be different. So they'll tell you to do something like this. Minus 7, and what you get in the end is x equals 3. And so that's really simple, but what if I told you there was another way that a lot of people learn it? It's quite relatively easy. So you see it's x plus 7, right? So then I think I like to think of it as transporting it from the good to the evil side and vice versa. So it's like, this is a good guy, right? Or like somebody, and then think about it something like this. When Anakin turns evil in Star Wars, he goes from the light side, positive, to the dark side, negative. So 10 minus 7, and x is equal to 3. But you really don't need to show this 10 minus 7, only if you're trying to show your work or something. That's really where it's going to make sense. And this seems like pretty simple, and that the balancing is much faster because of the two things, right? But when it goes on later on, like let's just say, for example, if you're trying to balance the equation x squared plus 7x plus 10 plus 10 is equal to 3x squared minus, let's just see here, 2x, then it's going to be really different. It's going to be much harder to do. You're not going to be like doing all day minus x squared and minus x squared from both sides, That's not the way it works, It's not the way it works. You're probably just going to want to bring this to this side. By then you're probably going to be proficient in the transportation process, so you're probably just going to bring this to this side, then bring this to the other side, then bring these two to the other side, and then after that you can solve it for 0. We'll be talking about that later on in the actual algebra unit, which you should take after this. It's really exciting. And now back to some prerequisites. So some things that you really need to know. 1 is to add, 2nd is to subtract, 3rd is to multiply, 4th is to divide. And there are gonna be times when you're gonna need to know some things like ordered pairs. So in case you don't know what an ordered pair is, so imagine it to be some sort of imagine something like battleship. You know how you have those letters, right? Those A, B, C. Let me just show you. It's something like, A, and then B, C. Sorry about my bad handwriting. D. Then it's like 11, 7, and 12, 13. Same thing here, except instead of A, B, C, D, we have 1, 2, 3. Think about it like this. imagine that you're targeting, this is exactly what they use in GPS too. And you're going to use this for the rest of your life. Like, if you want to become a coder one day, you're going to have to use you're probably going to have to use it in 3 dimensions too, because of nowadays graphics and everything. But you're going to have to do a lot of stuff with coordinates, so that coordinate plane's much different. I'll talk about that one day. I don't want to confuse you. So let's just say it's 1, 2, and you always have to write the intervals. You can't always assume these intervals. You have to like write them down, because sometimes they go by 2s, 4s, and so on and so forth. 3, 4, okay, and then let's just say 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this is 0. Okay, this area, we call this the origin. I'll spell it out for you, origin, because that's the middle point of the entire plane. That's the middle point. That's the point where everything just goes out from there. And in geometry, you're going to be learning a little more about that. How a point, a plane, and a prism sort of, interact and everything, and how it sort of works, and dimensions and everything. I'll talk about that someday in a geometry unit, maybe. So let's just say you were told to graph the point 1, 2. What would you do? Well, you go over 1, then you go up 2, right here. And then for the first few times in your life, you should label it always. If you're just starting out, you should label it as 1, 2, and later on you'll be labeling as point A. You should always label it first for people who are just starting out. However, later on, since you have so many data points, like there are a few data points like, X, Y, and then you go on 1, 2, and then you have like so many points, that you can't really just keep labeling it. If you do that, you're going to lose time, especially in competitions, if you're doing competitive math. So that's for that looks like the origin's 1, 2. No, that's not true. The origin is always 0, 0. All right. So that's basically the fundamentals of algebra, and there's a few other things I'd like to talk about, like geometry and everything. And if you ever notice, just think about it. There are 2 points, right? What if you were to draw a line through these? I wonder what happens. Well, as of now, I'll just say goodbye. I hope you have a nice day. And if you really want to, subscribe. And if you want to save this to your liked videos, it would be amazing. And comment down below if you want me to go over any other topics, or if you had any questions in this video. I'd love to answer them. Thank you very much. Peace.